All right, so let's talk about some practice problems. Here are our problems. We have problem number 1, 10n equals negative 40. What's happening to our n that's keeping it from being alone? Well, it's got this coefficient of 10. 10 is multiplying the n. So how do we get rid of that? Well, we use the inverse operation. Instead of multiplication, we use division. So we divide by our coefficient. So we know on the left side here, 10 divided by 10 is going to be 1. So we're left with n is negative 4 as our possible solution. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug that back into the original equation instead of the number of the letter n. And we get negative 40 equals negative 40, which is true. So we know that n equals negative 4 is a solution, is the solution. Problem number 2, we have negative 9 equals x divided by 18. What's keeping our x from being alone? Well, it's being divided by 18. How do we undo that or get rid of that divide by 18? Well, we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator. So I have 18 times negative 9 is equal to x divided by 18 times 18. 18 divided by 18 is going to be 1. So we get negative 162 equals x. We plug that back into our original equation. We simplify. We find out that we get negative 9 equals negative 9, which is true. So x is in fact negative 162. Problem number 3, we have similar situation. 5 is equal to a divided by 6. How do we get the a alone? We have to turn that divide by 6 into a 1. We do that using the inverse of division, which is multiplication. So we multiply both sides by the denominator. So we multiply both sides by 6. When we simplify, we know that those two 6's cancel each other out and turn into a 1. So we have 30 is equal to a. We have to plug that back into our original equation, simplify, and okay, so we ended up with a true statement. That means that a equals 30 is in fact the solution. Our fourth problem here is negative 15n is equal to negative 210. N has a coefficient. We want it to go away so that the n is alone. What do? We divide by the coefficient. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 15. Negative 15 divided by negative 15 is 1. So we are left with n is equal to 14. We plug that back into the original equation. We simplify and we get a true statement. So we know that in fact n equals 14 is the correct answer. Problem number 5, 11 equals n divided by 7. We want the n alone. It's being divided by 7. So we are going to multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator, which is 7. So we have 7 times 11 is equal to n divided by 7 times 7. On the right side here, not negative, 7 divided by 7 is 1. So we are left with n is equal to 77. We plug that back into our original equation. We simplify. We get a true statement. So we know n is in fact 77. Last problem here, number 6. Negative 20 is equal to x divided by 10. Same as number 5. We want the x alone. So what we're going to do is, since it's being divided by 10, we're going to multiply both sides by 10. So I have 10 times negative 20 is equal to x divided by 10 times 10. We know that 10 divided by 10 is a 1. So we get negative 200 is equal to x. We plug that into the original equation. We simplify and we get a true statement. So we know that x is in fact negative 200. So that is how you solve one-step equations using the multiplication and division properties of equality.